Hi, everyone, welcome back to Betrayed. Listen to me, she said boldly. If you file for divorce, I'll make sure you end up with nothing. You'll have to pay for the divorce, alimony, and child support. You'll also lose custody of the kids. I'll continue enjoying life with my lover. I replied sharply, "Do you really think I'll support you while you live like that?" She laughed coldly. "You have no other option. There are moments in life when reality hits you so hard, it leaves you breathless. That was one of those moments. I wasn't just heartbroken. I was shocked. I stood in the kitchen of the home I had built with my wife, Julia. The same kitchen where we once celebrated birthdays, anniversaries, and spent relaxed Sunday mornings with our kids. But today, it felt like a courtroom. Julia stood across from me, a wine glass in her hand, venom in her voice. "Listen to me," she said again, her tone sharp and her eyes cold. "If you file for divorce, I'll leave you with nothing." I blinked. She wasn't crying. She didn't look guilty. She was smirking, almost proud. "You'll have to pay for the divorce," she went on, "then alimony, child support, and don't even think about custody. You'll lose." I clenched my jaw, barely believing what I was hearing. Julia and I had been together for 11 years. We had 2 kids, a house, and a life I thought we had built together. I gave up my 20s for our family, working long hours, skipping vacations, and making sure Julia had everything she wanted. And now, she was not only telling me she had moved on, but she also expected me to pay for her affair. "I'll keep having fun with my lover," she said casually, swirling her wine. "And you'll keep paying for everything." That's when I snapped. "Do you really think I'll support you while you live like this?" I asked, my voice low and steady. She didn't hesitate. She just laughed. "You don't have a choice." That laugh, cold, cruel, and arrogant, was the moment something inside me changed. But not in the way she expected. I didn't beg. I didn't yell. I didn't even raise my voice. Instead, I looked her in the eyes and said, "You've just made the biggest mistake of your life." And in that instant, I knew exactly what I had to do. Something inside me flipped. I stopped being the man she thought she could manipulate. No more playing the good husband. No more sacrificing my pride. I didn't need to shout. I didn't need threats. I became calm, focused, determined. If she wanted a war, I'd give her one she would never recover from. But first, I had to be smart. That night, after her arrogant speech, I didn't storm out. I didn't sleep on the couch. I didn't even act angry. Instead, I kissed our kids goodnight, ate dinner like usual, and smiled at her like nothing had happened. That confused her, and confusion was my first step. She wanted drama. She expected a reaction. But I wasn't going to give her that satisfaction. In my mind, I was already 10 steps ahead. The next morning, I met with the best family lawyer in the state, someone known for defending fathers and exposing manipulative spouses in court. I paid in cash to leave no trail. I told him everything, the affair, her threats, her arrogance, and how she planned to ruin me financially. My lawyer simply smiled. "Don't worry," he said. "You're not the first man to sit in this chair, and she's not the first woman who thought she could win by default." He handed me a checklist. "Open a separate bank account. Secure all important documents. Prepare for custody, start keeping records of everything." That night, while Julia laughed at her lover's messages on Instagram, I was in the office scanning pay stubs, tax returns, mortgage papers, and insurance policies. She didn't even notice. That was her second big mistake. For weeks, I stayed quiet. I smiled and played the part. But behind the scenes, I installed security cameras inside and outside our home with audio. I recorded every conversation using a phone app. I started a journal, writing down everything she said about the kids, money, and her affair, with dates and times. She had become too comfortable. She didn't realize I was building a case so strong, even the most biased judge couldn't ignore it. One evening, while she claimed to be at a work dinner, I checked the GPS tracker I'd placed under her car. She wasn't at dinner. She was at a cheap hotel on the edge of town. Her boss, a married man with kids, was with her. I took photos, recorded videos, saved screenshots of their messages from our shared iCloud account. She never logged out. Julia thought she was untouchable, but she was about to face consequences she never saw coming. As her affair deepened, Julia spent less and less time with the children. She missed bedtime stories, skipped school meetings, and forgot important appointments. I didn't argue. I didn't raise my voice. I just focused on being present for the kids at every recital, every soccer game, every parent-teacher meeting. I documented everything. When they cried at night, asking, "Where's Mommy?" I comforted them and quietly recorded those moments. Because in custody cases, consistency is key, and I was becoming the steady presence they counted on. 6 weeks passed. Julia believed I was broken. One night, with a smug look, she said, "You're finally being mature about this. I guess you've accepted this is just how life is." I smiled calmly and replied, "Sure, Julia. Whatever you say." She kissed my cheek and left to go have drinks with her friends. I waved goodbye from the porch. What she didn't know was that the divorce papers were already prepared. The evidence file was complete, and her lover's wife had just discovered everything. The storm was about to begin. Revenge doesn't have to be loud. The best revenge is quiet, careful, and precise. It doesn't explode in one moment. It takes apart their world piece by piece, until all that's left is the truth. They ruined themselves. And for Julia, that day had arrived. It was a bright, sunny morning when she got served. She was sipping coffee at the dining table, scrolling through her phone without a care in the world, until a knock on the door changed everything. I stood behind the curtain, watching. "Julia Adams?" the process server asked politely. "Yes," she replied. The moment he handed her the divorce papers, her smile disappeared. I walked into the kitchen, holding my coffee, calm as ever. "Surprise," I said. She flipped through the stack of documents. Her face turned pale. "You're divorcing me?" she asked in disbelief. I nodded. For adultery, neglect, and emotional abuse. Should be a simple case. She scoffed, trying to regain control. "You won't get away with this. I'll still get alimony. I'll get the kids." I held up a flash drive. "Not with what's on here, you won't." 3 days later, things got worse for her. Her lover's wife, Vanessa, called me. We met in private. I shared everything: GPS logs, text messages, hotel records, photos. She didn't even blink. Then she said, "Thank you. Now I know just how deep it goes. I'll take care of my part." That evening, while Julia was at work, Vanessa walked into her office. She marched right up to Julia's desk and slammed down her own set of divorce papers. Julia's coworkers saw the whole thing. Vanessa didn't stop there. She spoke out loud and clear, telling everyone who Julia had been sleeping with for how long and how many times company resources were used during the affair. Human resources got involved. Her affair partner was suspended, pending an ethics investigation. Julia was publicly exposed. But that was only the beginning. 2 weeks earlier, I had already reorganized everything. All assets were legally protected in my name. Bank accounts separated. Joint credit cards closed. Her car lease canceled. I was the primary signer. She was removed from my health insurance the moment she got served. Her salon card declined. Then again at the grocery store. She called me furious. "You're cutting me off. I'm protecting myself. My lawyer advised it. You can speak to yours." Click. She thought she had broken me. She had no idea I was rebuilding everything behind the scenes. Our first court hearing arrived. Julia walked in wearing designer heels, probably one of her last purchases, before I froze the cards. She smirked at me across the courtroom. But her confidence didn't last long. My lawyer presented everything. Her long absences from the children's lives. Testimonies from teachers and babysitters. Security camera footage of her coming home at 2 a.m. 3 nights a week. Messages between her and her affair partner, calling me dead weight. Audio clips of her saying, "I'm not giving up the fun just to play mom all the time." She sat frozen as her lawyer fidgeted nervously. The judge didn't ask many questions. His decision was clear. Primary custody goes to the father. Visitation to be reviewed later. And just like that, she lost the one thing she thought she had power over. Her affair was exposed at work and in court. Her lover lost his job and was facing his own divorce. Her family was ashamed. Her friends disappeared. Her finances cut off. And her children were with me, safe, loved, and stable. She called me, crying, begging to talk. I didn't answer. 1 month later, I dropped the kids off at a supervised center for her brief visit. She looked like a ghost, tired, drained, no longer arrogant. As I buttoned my son's jacket, I heard her whisper softly, "I made a mistake." I paused and looked her in the eyes. "You didn't make a mistake. You made a choice," I said. "This is the consequence." Then I walked away. And for the first time in months, I felt truly free. Rock bottom isn't a place, it's a mirror. And Julia was finally forced to look into it. No makeup. No applause. No more lies to hide behind. Just the truth. And it was harsh. Her lover? Gone the moment Vanessa's lawyers filed for divorce and took half of everything. He collapsed like a paper box in the rain. He begged his wife to take him back. It didn't work. And then he vanished from Julia's life. She called him 5 times in one day. He blocked her. Her job? HR quietly let her go. Due to departmental restructuring, they said. But everyone knew why. The affair. The scandal. The drama Vanessa exposed in front of the whole office. Her reputation was destroyed. She used to be admired, put together, respected, the kind of woman others looked up to. Now, she was a walking warning. Then she sent me a letter, handwritten, 4 pages, filled with apologies, regret, excuses, dressed up as explanations. She said she missed the kids. Said she missed me. Asked if there was a small part of me willing to try again. She ended the letter with, "You always saw the best in me. Maybe you still can." I folded the letter, sealed it in an envelope, and mailed it back. Inside, I included only one note. "I did see the best in you. You just made sure I never see it again." 1 month later, I was granted full custody. Julia was allowed supervised visits, twice a month, on the condition she completed parenting classes and counseling. She missed 2 sessions. The court took note. Then she tried to delay the final divorce ruling. Her new lawyer asked for mediation. I agreed. Why? Because I wanted her to believe there was still hope. That maybe, just maybe, she could get something back. At the mediation table, her eyes flickered with a hint of hope. I said nothing for the first 20 minutes. I let my lawyer do all the talking. Then I leaned forward and placed a folder on the table. Inside, evidence of her affair. Proof of her financial dishonesty. Records of her neglect toward the kids. Documents showing she had already signed away her rights to the marital home months ago. I looked at her and said, "Here's the deal. You leave with the car, your personal belongings, and your name." She blinked. "That's it." I nodded. She turned to her lawyer, shocked. "This isn't fair." I smiled. Neither was betrayal. She signed. I kept the house. I kept the kids. I rebuilt my finances. And I rebuilt my life, one quiet, peaceful day at a time. Julia? She moved into a small apartment. Took a part-time job answering phones. Sometimes she still sends emails. I don't block her. But I don't respond either. Because the best revenge is moving on so fully, so completely, that they realize they never had the power they thought they did. She thought she could manipulate the system. She thought she could destroy me and walk away untouched. But in the end, the only thing she destroyed was herself. Was this revenge justified, or did it go too far? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear your take. And if you enjoy shocking, powerful pro-revenge stories, be sure to hit that subscribe button and smash the like for more thrilling tales you won't want to miss. Every like, share, and subscription means the world to us. It helps us keep bringing you the stories you love. Thank you for being part of our community.